So, you want to go to the next flag location, do you?
I imagine it's not super far away.
No, not at all. Essentially, if you want to know the... I hope you can see this. Essentially, the map indicates area around about here. Like, this area is round about where the flags come from.
Well, we'll go for a joyride.
I'm gonna go on a wild guess and say that that's probably a marking for some kind of desert race.
As you go towards the next flag, you actually do see that there is a flag over there. And as you drive up, you also notice something. The bleached bones that were sitting at the flag before are here. Despite being almost a few miles away, it's the same bones.
Are they like in the same relative location of each other? Like, are they like?
I mean, I guess. Let me know if what I'd roll. I guess to try to recall that information. It's here. Like, would it be like medicine? No, maybe not medicine check. I don't know.
Intelligence check, straight up.
Yeah, I'll just roll intelligence.
He's a smart boy.
Nice.
As you look around, you notice that everything around this flag is exactly the same as you've seen it like yesterday, but it's here, miles away from where it used to be.
Almost like it was like teleported and it's the exact same.
Yeah, somebody. We got some really a really detail-oriented, depraved artist here, arranging bones and all kinds of strange patterns. Is that the same? That's the same flag, right? Like, it's not a different flag than what I saw.
You actually tell that it's the exact same flag. It's even got that little nick that had in the side of the flag, like something hit it. You remember it.
Somebody literally moved the flag and the bones and all to this spot from the other spot. Who has the time to do stuff like that and wastes?
Scavengers.
People more equipped than us, I'm sure. Let's get back on the ship and get off this terrifying planet.
Aiden takes offense when he calls this terrifying planet, considering he makes a lot of money working here.
And that's partially why it's so terrifying.
Exactly.
I'm gonna like Kuzon just on his data pad, like he's just gonna mark the chords and snap some pictures, and he's just working like quietly, but he's just. Are you going on a file for this?
Are you going up close to the flag to take these pictures?
Yeah, I'd say he'd like. I imagine like I'd wave Ataika to like come with me, and then I'd hop note and just take some similar photos to what I took when I was here yesterday.
Okay, so as you start taking pictures and you physically start coming back, I would like everybody who didn't go towards the flag to make a perception check.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, critical fail.
Probably is too busy looking around. He's just so nervous that people may recognize the man for a job. Like,
Prava's playing with his new cell phone. He's just like, oh, apps.
Oh shit! In-game purchases. What is that?
What's these gotcha things?
I got an SS Plus.
Adrian, Thiveron, you actually do notice something. Even I suspect that Thiveron, you would be able to smell that they were in a different location.
Right.
Because as the pair are coming back, they're slightly off where you swear they were before. Like, the way where they went over, you looked away for a second, you looked back, and now they're coming back from a slightly different location.
So the same thing that happened to Ataika whenever.
Thiveron?
Yeah.
Is it my imagination, or did that position move?
Yes, it did.
Oh,
I was
good. So
wondering
it's
the
not.
same.
Oh, good. So it's not just me getting heat stroke in this desert. Gotcha.
No. It wasn't the mushrooms I found in the desert.
It is a mushroom. So yeah, Kuzon and the tiger don't actually notice this phenomenon as they come on back.
I'll just like hop on. And it's like, I guess it's a mystery we'll never solve. Just like not all aware of what they just saw. I guess it's just some weird bone pervert.
Kuzon, those bones moved.
Well, yeah, I'll point at the map. They were over here yesterday.
No. They moved while you were inspecting the flag.
It's like I'm just gonna look at you both like you're both idiots. Like, what do you mean?
And then Ataika would confirm, like, that's why I grabbed you the other day. I witnessed the same phenomenon.
I don't think he actually mentioned that he saw that actually.
Yeah, Kuzon's completely ignorant.
He didn't see
he
it.
did, but Kuzon was just like, "Oh, we gotta check your sensors. Something's up with you, buddy."
Oh yeah.
He gaslit me.
Yeah, Kuzon, for real though, those things literally moved. Like, didn't you notice on the way back you traveled a longer distance than on the way towards them?
I mean, if you want me to, I'll bring up I could bring up an image of the tectonic plates or something, but you know, otherwise what you're describing to me is physically impossible.
Can I do like a mysticism check to see if anything spooky scary is going on?
Yeah, Kuzon's talking. This isn't the player like trying to dismiss you guys. This is Kuzon.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's so good.
You guys are a bunch of fucking morons.
Keep going, keep going. I love this.
You guys are wacky.
Okay, so Prava, Thiveron, did you want to do a mysticism check as well?
I was gonna say life science, but
Well, you can
That's
do life
cute.
science as well if you wish. It's up to you.
okay,
Really.
yeah, I'm gonna use mysticism to see if anything spooky scary is going on for 29.
As you're both focusing towards location, you don't sense anything outright magical about the location, but Thiveron, as you're sensing, you do sense something, life, as if like something's there.
Life science.
Yeah, it's rather like it's such a like it feels like life.
Okay. Can I take a life science check to see if I can identify possibilities?
Yes, you may.
Now that I've burned my natural 20? Yep. Okay, so I just turn to everybody else. There's something here. There's somebody.
Plasma bolter comes out. I will shoot the air until it fucks off.
As you look back over, you notice that it's at least a foot over again. Like as if it moved once again.
Well,
Kuzon, how do you explain that?
Jesus?
Out of character, Ash. This hasn't been talked about, but I really hope it becomes a thing. Yosh will know what I'm talking about. In your last game, you decided to do some anomalies and other cool shit, Stalker style. I'm just wondering, is that gonna make a comeback? Because that would be cool, and are we dealing with some fucky shit over here?
I did mention at the beginning of the campaign that you would be studying anomalies. But who knows, this could be one, this could not be one.
This is kind of fucky right now.
You all
It's kinda
staying in the
fucky.
car kind of freaked out about it. It's kind of funny. Like you all staying away from the back. Like, the fuck?
Kuzon just like shrugs and like there's nothing to explain. It's like you're all just getting a little bit irrational here.
Hey, Kuzon, listen, dude. I understand that you like everything to be scientifically proven, and don't get me wrong, I'm with you on that one. I like, seeing, touching proof, but when that shit moves on its own, and we know that magic is a thing, and he points towards Thiveron and Prava, then sometimes maybe we should be accepting that some fucky shit might be going on that we can't explain.
Okay, so
I don't know about you, Aiden, but we don't know that magic is a thing.
Thiveron is going to get out of the car and walk over to the bones, and he is going to send out a telepathic message through the area saying, "We mean no harm, you can show yourself."
Oh,
Let's
Ataika
see.
means harm. I think they believe otherwise. It might not work.
So it's just a general, like,
General telepathic message. Trying to send it in the vicinity of the bones, but with telepathic message, if they succeed,
let's have a look.
a DC 25 perception check, it can be intercepted by anything within 10 feet of me. But I am trying to point it toward the bones in case there's something living in the bones or around the
Okay,
bones.
so it doesn't need the 25 perception check because you're intentionally sending it out. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like the
Well,
check
it's
is
in
for,
the
like, somebody
area
to
of the
intercept
bones,
it.
because that's where I'm targeting, is the area of the bones.
Okay, yeah. Okay, it doesn't mention anything else. Okay, right. So as you do that, suddenly everybody feels the ground shake ever so slightly, like a.
I'm going to start walking back toward the car quickly, but trying to hide the fact that Thiveron's panicking now and thinking that he just fucked it.
As it,
I think I found it.
I would like somebody to make a perception roll if they wish.
Okay.
Anyone can make a perception roll.
24.
14.
What you heard, anybody who got over 15, what you heard,
Oh, I didn't mean
it
to do that.
sounds. The sound didn't sound like a rumble of the earth or even a growl. It may have shook the earth, but it sounded more like a purr, like one a cat would do.
Okay, and I think with telepathic message, it can respond, I believe. Let me double check.
If it's intelligent enough to speak, then probably it can.
Well, it says you can send a short telepathic message and hear simple telepathic replies. So, 10 words of whatever language it speaks, it can send back to me if it wants.
I'm sorry, I'm having a proper thing.
Yeah, I was reading this one too. Nice.
Right. So essentially, I'm gonna have to say that it's probably gonna be needing to be a certain grade of intelligence in order to do
Right.
that.
Oh, we got a big sand dum-dum.
As you look back, you see that it's moved a foot again, but now it's moved a foot towards you guys.
Can I take a sense motive? See if it's trying to communicate?
You can try, yes.
I'm just grasping at straws here, because I've already failed life science.
Oh my god, you guys know what this is? This is some kind of sand whale, and somebody has marked it with the
28.
flag so you'd stay the fuck away from it.
But now it's a big sand whale kitty, because it's purring, and it likes it.
As you don't sense that it's coming to, like, the flag, because that's what you can see. You don't think the flag's coming to attack you. It's slowly moving towards you.
Okay. Thiveron's just gonna kneel down and put his hand in the sand around the bones to see if he can feel anything. He's gonna try and mind link with it to try.
Are you going up to the bones, or
discover
are
what
you
it
like
is.
staying at a distance and putting your hand in the sand?
He's slowly going up to the bones and then putting his hands down right in front of the bones.
Okay,
He's going to attempt
so
to mind link with whatever's under it.
as you put your hand in the sand, digging down, suddenly you feel something hard under it. And as you press, it feels sort of rough but slippery in a way.
Oh god. I was already thinking boner.
God damn it, Sam.
I don't know
I was
why.
thinking tremors.
Oh, wow,
Rabbits
okay.
are after.
As you touch, it's sort
Same.
of, it's almost like very rough skin almost. And as you, stop it. And as you attempt to mind link with it, you do notice that it's an animal.
Okay, can I tell what kind?
Not about its servicing, but it does seem non-hostile to you.
Okay, because
Does show like a
Environmental-
higher grade of beast intelligence. May not be smart, but
right.
does
So
understand you don't mean harm.
can I like ask it what it is and what it's trying to do?
Sadly, it's not intelligent enough to respond to you. If
Do I get
intelligent-
any like feelings or images or?
Well, since you didn't mean no harm, it just seemed to want. It's interested in you and your vehicle.
Okay, Thiveron's gonna turn around, say, it's not hostile, it's right under the bones. It seems interested in us.
So much for the treasure map.
By the way, as you all looked up, it had like Thiveron and the flag have gotten too close to a point, so it's like about 4 meters away. And as you do, the ground starts rumbling again as something starts picking up from the sand. And as it does, you see an almost chitinous-like creature in the shape of a. I can only describe it as almost a cat-ish kind of face. As Thiveron, you are physically on the back of this thing as it's raising up, along with the flag. And you
Prava,
just
is
see
that one of
sand
your
pouring from
ancestors
it.
or something?
Okay. So I know that it's not trying to hurt me though, so I'm just going to try and stabilize myself and just signal to everybody else like it's okay, don't shoot.
Prava starts to chitter at it.
It rumbles back in almost purr-like faction.
So I don't recognize. Do I recognize what this thing is? I guess probably not.
You may roll, I believe you would roll. Instead of survival or anything, I think you may roll culture, given it could have significance in your culture.
Oh my god, don't tell me it's one of those things that eats ships and it became super fucking big.
This thing, you remember of tales like from your race's thing. These things are meant to be extinct. They're meant to be dead because of the mining of a planet, the cracking of a planet. Basically, it used to live in the ground like this, moving along, silting all the earth and the like. It's like a giant vacuum cleaner, essentially, of a desert. This thing should be dead.
What is it called? Or do I have a name for it?
You don't have an exact name, but essentially, like, it should be extinct.
Sorry guys, I need 5 minutes, I'll be right back. I'll keep things rolling, so just do your thing.
Okay. But yeah.
I'll just like as this thing's like rising up, you see Kuzon's face kind of drop into shock. He's like, "Well, fuck me, Aiden. Maybe magic is real."
Let me show you the world.
These Kuzon just like I've heard me and my fellow brood, we used to have stories about creatures like this, but they're supposed to be long extinct when this planet came occupied.
Yeah,
So is
essentially it was so hard to notice given how slowly they move through the ground, but that's probably why somebody planted a flag on it.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna use my camera and I'm gonna snap a picture of it and then keep it secret.
So the flag is in the creature?
It's in its chitinous shell, but it does not look bothered. It looks like
Okay.
the shell on its back is so thick it doesn't bother with a spike in it.
Okay, just in case, Thiveron is gonna kind of express, seeing as how it's not like conscious intelligence, but I'm gonna express concern about the flag, and basically see if I get any emotions back about like it might wanting it out of its shell or
Going
not.
to express consent.
It does not look bothered at all about flag. In fact, it doesn't seem to actually notice it. I guess you could say that this is kind of like one of those clips that you put on animals.
Like tagging a bear zoo or something.
Hmm.
Or like a kid.
There you go. I
The thing
I
is-
fixed up the attack roll there.
You do
Sam,
know-
so it should be better. It should work normally now.
You do know, Kuzon, about the culture thing, is that you do know that there are several of these flags around the planet. Like, whoever's been looking for these things have actually found a few of them and have been planting flags on them in order to know where they are.
Do the flags emit like a GPS signal? Is it just? I guess we can't tell that with the equipment we have, probably.
You could probably, like, physically check the flag with an engineering roll.
Like, what are we checking the flag for? Or what do you want to check?
For like a GPS tracker, or like to see if it's just like linked to like someone's like tracking system.
Sure. I guess like Kuzon just like shrugs, like I'll take a look.
So wait, since I missed it, are these things harmless?
So far.
Overall, they're like giant vacuum cleaners of the world. They clean up.
And you missed when Kuzon responds to you, Aiden, where he's just like, well, fuck me, I guess there is magic. This thing's supposed to be extinct.
Is it like kind of like a catfish falcor?
It's kind of like a catfish crustacean.
Can we say it's a catfish falcor?
No, we cannot.
By the way, Ash, I'm gonna take one of my field rations and I'm gonna toss it in its mouth or something.
Its mouth is hanging open with some sand dripping out, and as you throw it in, it just closes its mouth.
Prava takes a selfie with the creature for his social media account.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. I'm gonna take one for the lads back home.
That is a bad idea. What do you mean? This thing's supposed to be extinct, and let the myth stay.
Yeah, so it's gonna get so many clicks.
Hey, Ash.
No, because if you tell poachers that this thing is still alive, then they're gonna go and poach it.
We're not gonna tell them where it is.
Yeah, we're just gonna take a picture of the location.
Yeah, we're just gonna take a picture of it with a flagpole, very distinctive flagpole back.
Suddenly, Kuzon
Did you
goes
wanna-
into nature preservation mode.
Did you want to do engineering on the flag? I didn't hear if you wanted
Yeah,
to.
I'll see. I mean, it's culturally important to Kuzon, so yeah, he's going into nature preservation mode.
I randomly rolled something. It's amazing.
Hey Ash, check this out. I'm gonna give my phone to Ataika and tell him make sure to get my good side. I'm gonna run in front of the car. Like I said, I'm tossing field ration in its mouth so it's opens its mouth to eat it, and as it has its huge gaping mouth open as a backdrop, I'm gonna turn towards the camera and I'm gonna go into that painting, you know, the one where you put the hands on your cheeks and you open your mouth and you go, oh,
The
like,
scream.
oh no!
Oh my god.
And I'm gonna wait
So,
for Ataika to take a picture.
Oh no! Ataika's like getting like Austin Powers, like, oh yeah, baby, like like kneeling and taking a bunch of pictures, and then you get the phone back and they're all selfies of himself. He doesn't know how the fucking
Yeah, he was
camera
using the wrong camera, so he just like his thumb.
click, there's 85 pictures of his face and hand.
Okay, that didn't work out.
I'll take a
He looks
picture
towards
using my
Prava, who's an
built-in
expert. He looks towards Prava, who at this point is probably an expert at social media, and he tosses him the camera. Hey, Prava, do me a solid one. And I make the pose again.
Prava takes some like very artful like Instagram pics. He even like pre-filters them and like
Some filters. Oh, by the way, as you're doing engineering, you do find that it had a signal. However, you also notice certain things about the flag. Like there's actually written instructions inside a panel that was on the side of the flag. As you open it up, you read them, and apparently this was something to do with preservation, but it's no longer receiving a signal from where it's sending it. And giving the date, this was probably, well, many years ago. Whatever happened, you don't think that whoever was trying to help these things is alive anymore.
As I'm like, you see kind of like Kuzon like solemnly sort of like looking into it and closes. And as he's like walking back to the group, it's like, I guess we're the only ones that know about this.
Well, you and the skeleton before, who didn't look like he lived
Yeah,
to
that's
tell
what I
anyone.
mean. Like I'm assuming that they're dead, basically. Because there's somebody who made it their pet project to monitor these things, but it's no longer a two-way communication.
Aiden looks towards this creature, looks back towards Kuzon, looks back towards the creature, scratches his beard and says, "So these things are rare and probably very expensive, huh?"
Whatever it is that you're thinking, you're not. We're not doing that.
I guess we do have more important things to do anyway. Aiden just shrugs and heads back to the car.
You would know that this sort of information would be valuable to poachers, but also to certain preservation societies.
Yes, I would know that, but I also noticed that Kuzon is not okay with that idea, so Aiden decides Kuzon's feelings on one end, a little bit of extra cash on the other. He weighs in and he's like, I took a cool selfie, that's good enough, and he decides not to tell anybody about it.
Well, others would know as well, of course. They're just saying this is common sense, because if you give it to a preservation society, they're of course going to want to protect these creatures, and also the discovery of said creatures are going to be important, while the poachers, rare animal to hunt.
Kuzon is just going to he's gonna take notes of like the information on the tracking device and everything like that. And basically with the notes, so that if they find somebody that he can trust to take the responsibility, they'll be able to link up with the tracking device again and like start monitoring this guy. And any others, I guess this might help them if there's any others out there.
So you basically pick up the signal.
Like basically like marking like the IP address, or like not the IP address, but like the serial number and whatever information to allow somebody to triangulate to the signal, so in case he wants to pass the responsibility of monitoring it to somebody else.
Fair enough. Yeah, congratulations, you discovered a new creature.
I'm gonna look towards Thiveron and say, good job, man.
Thiveron is going to kind of using his mind link, ask the creature to kind of like let him down. And
The creature does start lowering down at that point.
Okay, and then Thiveron kind of like sends, because he knows it's not intelligent enough to understand speech necessarily, so he's just going to send emotions, essentially, like happiness, gratefulness that they were able to meet, and farewells that they have to go now.
I'm pretty sure the creature can
And then,
understand the dog's tail wagging.
Yeah. And then Thiveron just turns to Aiden and he says, "Well, I didn't really do much. I expected that to be the last of what we were going to just."
I mean, you did kind of, lure it out, so good job on that. We would have probably still been stuck here wondering what the hell's going on.
Yes, and I believe Kuzon is right. These creatures must be allowed time to replenish their numbers before they're revealed to the world.
Kuzon's kind of like sitting in the car like a bit sheepishly, and he's just like scratching his like, sorry, I didn't believe you guys. Yeah.
Ataika walks by past
It is
you,
all right.
rubs your head and just says, maybe we should get your sensors checked.
It's just frown. Just frustrated frown.
It's like, oh wow, robot, fuck you.
And this is where we find out that Prava already posted those social media pics everywhere.
It's already on his Facebook, his...
Oh my god.
MySpace.
Those are deep fakes. They're not real.
But he doesn't know that Ataika used his engineering to Photoshop teddies onto it, so it doesn't look real. Just looks like he's making his fucking monster waifu harem.
As Aiden gets the vehicle into gear, he says, so much for that treasure hunt, I guess. And he starts taking the vehicle back towards the ship after that beautiful bonding moment with the crew.
Ah.
We discovered and endangered a living creature today. Good job, everybody.
Good job, good job. High five.
We murdered some peeps, and we preserved some animals.
The cycle of life.
Murder and life. So essentially, you get back, and I'm not sure what you want to do with the people, since the people are in boxes still.
Well, I believe
Cargo
Kuzon has some plans for him, but I wanted to ask him if he's okay with one, so we can leave the other one as quote-unquote, a tip for the fucking mechanic dude. Trading goods and shit.
That's not happening.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I would like to get my deposit back with no questions asked.
Thiveron's gonna go over to Kuzon. Seeing as how they are mostly cybernetic anyway, would there be any way to erase our meeting entirely from their
Kuzon like is like kind of like looking at the box like a side eye, and he's like, I can work around and see what I can do with the mechanical parts. I'm somewhat familiar with the application of cybernetics, so maybe some of my medical knowledge may be helpful as well. But I might need your help. You seem to have some. I guess either you or Prava, you guys seem to have some talents with some psychic whatever. It might be helpful to draw them out if we get to that point.
Just let me know what you need and I will see.
My skills with the psychic arts are well known. I'm sure I can help.
I just like this dynamic that Aiden and Kuzon has, where Aiden's just like, I want to do something, and then I'm like, Kuzon's like, no, we're not doing that. And then he just drops it. It's just like
my thing.
All right, Dad, and he stops off.
So
the thing is, Kuzon doesn't like boss Aiden around, but sometimes he just puts the kibosh and he's like, I want nothing to do with what you just suggested.
It's okay, Kuzon. We'll check your sensors once we're back in the ship.
Get fucked, nerd.
Get fucked.
But yeah, well, I mean, we have to. Do we have any other business? We have to get the car back, right? To get
I did mention that we're probably gonna leave it somewhere and he's gonna have to pick it up himself, so we can just leave it in the junkyard. The thing that
I don't
worries
think
is
we get a
those things are
deposit if
probably
we do
gonna
that.
fucking eat it. That's why I kinda wanted to leave one of the mercs there with the fucking car, so they probably wouldn't touch the car.
I think we have to drive it back.
Yeah, but if we drive it back, that means a forced march back to the ship, a couple of clicks.
I mean, I can do the walk just fine.
Thiveron, like, not wanting to walk in the desert says,
Yeah,
I
mean,
think we should take
me
the
and
car
Ataika
back.
could do it because both of us don't give a shit about the desert.
That's true. I think only two of you actually care about the extreme weather conditions. And since they've been in a car, it doesn't
died
count.
last time.
Yeah, 'cause the walk almost
Yeah.
got me last
Prava,
time. So.
Prava, you stay here, friend. Keep hydrated.
No problems there.
Yeah, keep those things off the hull while we're gone.
If any of you had engineering, you could
Well,
attempt to fix the hole while they're gone.
Here's the thing, Kuzon, you ain't going nowhere because somebody needs to take care of the ship, and that's you. And
I mean,
Aiden just sighs.
it's-
I guess I can drive the car back.
It's frustrating, but it's just some minor hull damage. If we dock, if we dock, then anywhere, then I can spend some time doing that. It's not a big deal.
That's true. You could just, head to any.
Yeah,
That
it's
actually reminds me. I wanted to talk with
I
you guys.
hate how it ruined the paint, but it is minor damage structurally speaking.
I wanted to talk with you guys about this anyway. Once we're done getting rid of, the white box and everything. Are you guys okay with docking by the station for a couple of days? Not only for us to, look over the ship, but I was thinking, we can spend a few days getting some gear together. Plus, we should celebrate our official job done, and I know the perfect place. How's about it?
What kind of celebration are we talking?
Oh, good food, good drinks, a nice company, the full shebang.
Where on the space station?
Yeah, I know a good place.
How populated is this place?
He thinks about the place he's thinking about. There's plenty of space for everybody, don't worry. It's not that crowded.
Fuck it. He's just like, if they have something better than the insect paste and gruel that I'm usually used to eating, then I'll make it work.
Aiden looks at him like he's a sad little orphan when he says what he's eating. You poor thing.
I'll get in the truck. Taika can come if he wants. Aiden can come if he wants. But I'm just gonna drive it back, and then because I don't care. The desert hardly affects me, so I just want to give it back and get Prava's deposit.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
since him and Ataika got that covered, Aiden's not gonna volunteer for that mission, since even though he is trained to endure, forced marches, he doesn't like them that much. Instead, he's gonna focus on killing some of the things around the junkyard and keeping his skills fresh and stuff. Use them as target practice a little bit.
So, are you waiting for the pickup to pick up the vehicle, or
We're driving it out.
okay, you're driving it
We're
out?
gonna
Okay.
walk back.
Yeah, they wanna
So it'll
return
be a
it.
few hours.
All right, you head on back towards Mallow.
I'll drive. I have to like
in the ship.
I have to like strap like paint cans to my feet so I can hit the pedals.
You know Ataika has piloting, right? He's fully capable.
I guess yeah. I
But
guess
he has the
you're-
opposite part. He's probably too big to reach the pedals. He'd have like his knees up to his
yeah.
face and like.
He can drive with his knees.
I'd like to
I mean
think.
that and like Kuzon would prefer if you're like watching his back while he's driving.
I'd like to think that Kuzon, that has slapped on the paint cans to his feet, looks towards Ataika and is like, we tell nobody about this. Nobody must know.
So you drive it all the way back towards Mallow, and of course, since he's next to the entrance, you could just drop it off if you desired.
Yeah. How are the credit? Do I have to like knock on his door and be like, "Give me deposit"?
Essentially, he's outside like he always is during this time.
I'll pull in with the car and I'll just do as if I had a really fancy car with my like arm hanging over the side and just like giving him a look. I'll have the night vision, like part of my suit is I have these night vision goggles that are like over the head sunglasses, and I'll just stroll in and like nod and like, "What's up?"
You can see the guy getting up. He's like, he goes, "Oh," he like hikes up his belt and goes, "Oh, hello. I see the car's in good condition. How did Mr. Daredevil enjoy it?"
We did all kinds of cool stuff with it. He made it do a flip once.
Oh, I hope it's on recorded and, you know, on his social media website.
He Kuzon, like, he's not able to actually put down his sunglasses, but he's gonna do the gesture as if he and like look over the bridge of his glasses and like look this guy in the eye and just be like, it'll be a few days. They have to get our SFX artists all over. You know, high production. We gotta license some music. You know how it is.
Given how well you guys rolled, I'm not going to make you roll again. This guy just seems to like believe you.
Yeah,
He's like,
He's a fan. He's a fan.
Of course.
Yeah, just buttered him up. And
Let's just hope he doesn't remember this, because later down the line I don't want him starting shit for us.
But
I mean,
I just want to say, I did look up the Daredevil and his name. He always seems to wear a helmet. I'm just shocked that I got to see his face. Like no one else seems to know his face.
Yeah.
Ataika pipes up. He's like, "That's because he doesn't exist."
I just bring my finger up to like what he says is that his he's speaking strictly metaphorically, like to the average commoner he doesn't exist. So you're very privileged, and
everybody knows about him. I mean, look, he brings up his comm on the screen, and it seems Thiveron was not bullshitting, as there was actually a driver under that name.
Kuzon like tries not to make it obvious, but he does kind of like a double take because he himself didn't believe it.
You can't see the disappointment in my eyes, so all I'm gonna say is bad dog.
You did say it was real, didn't you?
Yeah.
Kuzon assumed it was fabricated when he was privy to the conversation, though. He never like bothered.
I don't think Thiveron ever told anybody in the party that
it was
the Great Formolio is a commander from the Vescarium. That's a daredevil.
Anyway,
he always wears a suit, and I was just gonna say that suit's very form-fitting. I mean, he's rather skinny here, but I guess that's just for high-grade material.
Oh, he just called Aiden fat.
Thiveron's just gonna say, well, when you have a public image to uphold, sometimes you have to doctor it.
Thiveron came along with just keep up the lie, I see. Yep. Awesome.
I'm so disappointed in all of you, and I'm very sad I'm not there to clear this misunderstanding right now.
Just so you know, when I get back, I'm gonna be looking Aiden up and down.
I am so. I love it when characters like bring in like their own things, and it's awesome. This is brilliant. Okay, so essentially he's going, yeah, I'm just so glad I got to meet him. I promise. I haven't took any pictures. I won't share them at all. I promise.
Thiveron's just gonna nod sternly. Just because Thiveron came off as like the overprotective bodyguard last time. So.
So I'll return the vehicle, and I'll mention like when I return it and like looking for the deposit, and it's like, you mentioned you had something for me to look at. I could take a quick peek before we hit the road if it's
Oh,
if you like.
of course, that would be amazing. Oh, right. Here's your deposit back. He hands you back 100 credits.
I'll stuff them in my back pocket to return to my good friend.
He's like, just over here, and he like gestures towards what seems to be like a bike. It looks a bit junky, but the engine in it looks shiny.
I just like looking at it, just like looks like the engine is the newest part of this junker.
Oh,
Yeah,
the engine's broken. Get it out of there. Let us have it.
So you see, I got a deal. Somebody bought one of these old bikes in, but the engine was just so well furbished. Sadly, I don't have a frame for it, but the engine itself, I managed to put it in this old frame I had.
Okay. I'll like inspect it. Like, if the frame is kind of like rusty, I'll try to mark off where like the quote unquote like weak points would be, and then just like give it a quick inspection, basically.
As you do look over it, it is a very nice motorcycle.
Is it big enough for me?
It is a nice sizable cycle, but the main part of it, of course, is the engine itself.
So while Kuzon's looking over, it's like, what? So you have this for personal use? So you plan on selling this?
Oh, well, it was more of a project than anything, you know, trying to get all the nice parts to build a very decent cycle.
Tell you what, I'll give this guy a look over for a little bit. If you can give us a drive. Well, should I ask him for that? No, maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah,
Well, he already knows enough about us, and he
Yeah.
marked.
Yeah,
He
it's
gave
fine.
him
If
the
you want to
pickup
ride back,
location,
that's
so I think
fair.
he already knows what he needs to know.
That's
Like,
fair.
I'll give this a look. See if I'll give this a look. If I'll guess the cost of repairs there. I'll give it a look. See if you give us a drive back to the ship.
Okay, deal. I think that's a deal.
It's like I could brave the desert, and my tall friend here can brave the desert, but our
Furry
agent,
dog does not do well.
yeah, he's not as well suited.
So, in other words, you're going to get a taxi back if you just look over the vehicle. Is that what you're doing? Nice. Well, engineering then, if you actually want to do a job of it, but if you want to...
I'll help him
Nothing.
because I have good engineering as well. I'm no
Nice. Look at
machine.
that.
Let's see
Unless
if
I
you're...
don't need to.
I mean, you can
pretty
roll.
sad.
Anyway.
You
Give me a plus
You can
4.
roll,
Like, give me
because...
a bonus to it.
Yeah, like the bonuses will count. Like I always give something if you pass it over quite a few.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
What I like about the
You're
system
handing him
is
tools.
there's a lot of things where if you pass by a +5 and more, you actually get greater bonuses, which is cool.
Nice, that's awesome.
So as you check it over, of course, you mark off the rust. You check over the engine and everything, the tires, and you give him pointers and a list to how you can rebuild the frame and the like. And he seems very pleased with your work. He's like, I'll take you in my personal vehicle. I'll take you back to your ship. One moment. And as he comes out, you can see that his own personal vehicle is basically this old decommissioned APC sort of deal. And inside it's just so cool. You can even see a mini fridge in the back. It's stuffed in there and it's not the prettiest thing, but it's got drinks. It's like, get inside. Feel free to have a drink or two if you wish.
Worth it. Worth it.
I go look at the drinks, but he'd rather not pour them in his.
I can just imagine us there
valuable
rolling in
electronics.
towards the fucking junkyard with that, and me and Prava, who stayed behind, are like, the fuck is going on?
And as we're driving back, and it's like, like I'll be like, imagine I'm sitting in like the passenger seat as we're on our way back, and I'll hand him my contact information. It's like they know me here on this planet as Nezith. I don't make myself known here often, but you know, if ever I should return, you seem like a fairly reliable guy. It's good to have connections.
Of course. I'll make sure to get. And he gets out his straggly wallet as the vehicle seems to be driving itself, or he's let go of the wheel and just making it go forward. And he like puts your like information in his wallet. He's like, "Okay, thank you. I hope we see each other again soon. I understand the life of an engineer of a famous daredevil and racer is probably hectic."
Yeah,
Ataika leans over to Ataika leans over to Kuzon and says, "Kuzon, what was my name?"
What was? Your is bodyguard. Fist punch.
Is bodyguard fist punch here?
Yeah.
Oh, I see you're just getting into the world of robotics as well.
I dabble.
Yeah.
Diversifying your portfolio.
That makes sense of why it forgot its name. Okay, understood.
Well, you know, it's just freshly refurbished. You know, just came back from the shop.
He looks over and goes. Weird enough, he doesn't believe that he's new and refurbished.
What gave it away? Is it the wear and tear or the blood that got splattered on him from the beheading?
Or is it possibly
I want to imagine that
600-year-old writing on his body?
I want to imagine that Kuzon would have polished the blood off him before we met this guy. Like, I want to imagine that he care about his. I know he doesn't view Ataika as his property, but in terms of like equipment, he's very keen on maintaining stuff.
The unknown language probably also tips him off.
I mean, Kuzon's not a master of deception, so he's gonna roll with what he said. He's not gonna like try to recant or like modify it.
Just so we're clear, as you're traveling, you don't need to make any constitution checks, given that you're in this APC traveling.
I'm drinking the stiffest OJ that anybody's ever had.
They gain a +4 intuition bonus to acting like snobs for the next hour.
By the way, the people that were still at the ship, you soon see that an APC is like drawing up on your ship.
I'm immediately gonna contact Prava on the comms. Like, Prava, get in position. We may have problems, and I am gonna get to a vantage point and take out my sniper rifle.
And the vehicle is gonna turn, basically turn away from the ship, and the back's gonna hiss open.
Okay. Probably weapons at the ready, kind of like lowers the hatch of the ship.
You see one massive wrought iron foot pop out.
Jesus fuck. Oh shit, they brought mechs.
And then like he's stuck and you see a lizard crawl out, he's trying to pull me out of the back.
As they get out, a shot whizzes by the side of their head but just barely misses. And the Prava's like, oh shit, it's you guys.
Just completed out of panic. Ah!
I just want to imagine, because like this is what the I uploaded it in the meme channel, but this is what his like over the head glasses look like. So Kuzon was like had his chest puffed and he was like doing like a strut towards the back, and then he has to and then he sees that Ataika gets stuck and he's like grabbing his arm and trying to pull him through, and then he gets shot. It's like, the fuck.
Oh god.
This is my moment ruined.
Actually, you should have warned us you were coming back in a vehicle. You gave us quite the scare.
It's not cool if you know to expect us.
God.
Sorry about my friends here. You know, we take security very seriously.
We daredevil type you first.
Thiveron's gonna step in front of Kuzon as he's like stumbling over.
And by the way,
trying to explain the shot, and he just says, "You have to understand. Our work takes us to many dangerous planets, and sometimes they're as lawless as Agaton tends to be. So
Yeah, don't worry, I'm used to gunfire.
well, it looks at least like we need a new security officer, as he missed."
So, right after the shot is fired, and Thiveron says that Ataika was bringing back a glass of Seabreeze orange juice for somebody, and now you lost it. So he poured it in the center. So you did that to yourself.
He's just trying to play. He's in character.
Exactly.
I just want to imagine the bullet pierced the can.
Ataika for the first time looks like very, very
Actually,
full of
it was a blast of cold energy, so like the can is very chill while it's leaking. It's
Or maybe he didn't miss. It's a nice cold beer.
So
as Aiden like puts his sniper away and starts getting down from the pile that he made his sniper vantage point, he screams, "Kuzon, what happened to being discreet?"
I mean, I'm just like shrugging. It's like, I mean, this guy is your biggest fan. Why would you want to disappoint him? Anyway, thank you for the ride. Yeah, just let me know how the motorcycle repair goes. I'm interested.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh, don't worry. You doesn't have to use like a fake name like Kuzon. Since it's me, he like, waves towards you and it's like, "You're looking very well, sir. Much better than in your social media."
Aiden looks confused. The fuck is he on about?
Much more meat on you. He says
Like
he like gets.
this starts trying to signal to Aiden to play along. He forgot to warn him that he was improvising.
Aiden gets the hint and he just takes out the smoke. You see that his leg is pacing back and forth, clearly very annoyed and frustrated at this entire situation, but he just keeps smoking and tries to keep cool and say nothing.
And Ataika says, yes, your added weight is refreshing.
As the guy is like, "If there's not going to be anything else, then I bid you a good day. I look forward to the social media." Oh, and I'm glad that your machine. I bet he's in loads of pictures as well with all his my stickers on him.
Oh no, I forgot.
Yeah, you covered yourself with stickers. Did you forget?
He's so fucking arrested, dude.
And it's
Well,
like,
looks like we have to hack the Great Formolio's social media and post
By the way, as everybody else is distracted, Aiden is gonna quickly check out his glutes and his sides to make sure that he's not getting chubby or something.
and with that, the guy starts driving off. If anybody else doesn't talk to him again, he's like, you can see he's all pleased with himself as he turns on the radio. So it drives off.
And Ataika, as he walks over to get in our vehicle, our ship, he sees that Aiden's looking at himself. I was just like, "What?"
Thiveron walks over to Aiden and just whispers in his ear, "You're not fat."
The fat is good.
I can tell.
The fuck did you
Says the
clowns
blind
talk with
man.
that asshole about? Aiden is starting to get annoyed and frustrated.
Sorry,
Said
you're
you
not
gained
fat,
weight, I
says the
think he's
blind
right.
man. Oh god. Sorry.
Uses echolocation to see his booty cheeks clap, I guess.
Jesus Christ.
This is me, Solid
Can you hear
Snake.
the
I keep
clap?
alerting the
Dummy
guys
snake.
on the fact of me being dummy thick.
All right, Prava's gonna go check to see if we received the coordinates from Elibor yet.
You actually do have coordinates. It's basically off planet, and there's a delivery pod waiting for you.
Yeah. All right, guys, we have a destination. Are you ready to take off? Should we do some repairs first?
We can get some repairs in back on the station. Let's get out of here before these creatures nibble more of our ship away.
Yeah, you'd kind of be working. You'd be a pain in the ass to try to repair a ship while a bunch of ship-eating things are roaming around.
Alright, lads, everybody on board. Still not sure what you plan to do with these brain-dead fellows, though, Kuzon. You better keep an eye on them.
Yeah, we got it. I'll get Ataika's help in moving the crate into my lab.
Right, I'm gonna head inside, put my sniper rifle back in my room after I've taken good care of it and maintained it, and I'm gonna head towards the cockpit so I can get into the pilot's seat.
Alright, so everybody's getting on ship and taking off, are they?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about time, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, 1 second.
And Thiveron is gonna excuse himself to his room where his makeshift altar is, and he's gonna kneel down and he's gonna start telling Talavet about everything that they've done on Akiton. He's gotta share his stories.
The stories of how the great daredevil for Londo has gotten fatter, apparently.
Orlando, I like that one too.
To be fair, the dude is very skinny, I decided.
Well,
like he's a
the
stick.
thing about Daredevil is they have to be skinny because they have to crawl into tight spaces most of the time. It's weird.
Exactly. Less
Like
weight, more
the,
speed.
like the women. that watch the
Skitterbanders
show.
are small. They're not like skinny, but they are small.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to roll piloting?
No, you don't need roll piloting for basic exit of the atmosphere.
I thought you'd learn by now, Ash. Nothing I do is standard procedure.
He's
What are you
those
doing,
four
flips?
Yes, that's the only way. You gotta flip
He
the
tries
ship.
to do
I
a sweet
swear.
kickflip with a ship.
I'll just take controls away from you if you keep doing this shit.
That's
Oh.
weird.
Kuzon is just like, I imagine Kuzon's like working and like, you know, getting his like workstation all ready. He like sets his tools out on his table and like he hasn't taken them out of the box yet and is just like, you know, getting started, and the ship buckles and like one of his wrenches like flies off his table, and then he's just like gets in the comms like, what the fuck are you doing?
Hey, you
Is it
wouldn't get
basic-
it, man. I've been a pilot for like 2 weeks now. You don't understand the subtleties of what it means to be a pilot, okay? Oh, there's another buckle. There goes another two.
What I know is that there's a perfectly serviceable like atmosphere exiting protocol that you can just load.
Ah, that's for babies. I got this.
I swear, if you misplace one of my wrenches with the turbulence and your shoddy piloting skills, one of these wrenches will find themselves somewhere.
Hey, if you can't keep track of your wrenches, that's your bad, man. As a professional, you should take better care of your tools, alright?
I like muted him halfway through that sentence. I'm just like, I'm tired of shit.
That being said, it is going to take you around about an hour or so to get to the drop location. Is there anything anybody wishes to do in that time frame? Since you
guess
did
if
mention
it's-
you're doing tours.
If it's only an hour, then I'll just spend the time to like scan the box and just get as much details as I can while I have a moment to see it.
Well, an hour or two, like you'll exit the atmosphere and stuff, you're on the ship, takeoff takes a minute. So you have time if you want to study the box.
Yeah, I like to do that.
Considering Aiden is exhausted from taking a fucking fuel cell to the face, I'm gonna take a 10-minute break in between flying just so he can recover a little bit and catch his breath.
Yeah, ships you can like auto-navigate the ship in like clear space. So you can take a small break if you desire. As for scanning of the box, let me see. You have a workstation to work on it. So you can either use engineering to open the box or computers to scan the box.
Do they have any instructions for us, like, not to tamper with the packaging or anything like that?
The only
They did say it was
instructions-
very sensitive.
Yeah, they did say it was very
Necessary in the box.
sensitive, but they just simply said get the box.
When they say sensitive, just like you mean like sensitive information, not like the box.
Sensitive to temperature, like that's the reason it's in the box.
Hmm.
Like you could compromise it by opening it.
I'll choose to.
The box overall is very, very
Uh,
cold within, but you can also sense heat near the center.
Ash, instead of him making that roll, considering we're in no rush and everything's fine, can't he just take a 20 or a 10?
Yeah, actually, you probably could if you desired to take a 10.
I'm not
yeah,
used to
okay.
those rules, but yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, essentially, if you are doing a standard thing, like you're checking something over or researching something up on the net and stuff, if you have ample time to do it and you know rush, then you can take a 10. If you have like a day or even more in order to do something, you can take a 20.
Okay.
That's how that rule works. So if you want to take a 10, how much would that be?
I have a plus 12 or plus 11 to computers. It'd be a 21.
21, okay. So essentially, as I mentioned before, it's very cold within, and as you scan deeper, there is an electronic device at the center, and then several heat sources around that center. There's a few, like in a circular motion on either side of the device.
Do I like get a lot of radiation coming off this thing?
Not radiation, but heat, like
Okay.
from the thing.
Okay. Heat. Well, how much heat? Like the kind of heat a machine would make, or the kind of heat like a living thing would make? Or
I mean, if it's pretty warm in like, so I imagine like the box is at like negative 20 Celsius, for example. I'll just use that as an example, and it's like still like 40 degrees Celsius hot, then it's probably really hot.
Yeah, essentially.
So it's putting out a lot of heat, and I know probably that it would melt through the box pretty quickly if the cool.
You do feel like whatever device is at the center is keeping it cool, so you're unsure if it would change anything if you opened it or not.
Yeah, well, I'll keep taking that chance right now.
Okay then. While you're doing that for the next hour, is anything anybody else wish to do?
Thiveron, after finishing his stories, he walks in and sees Kuzon scanning the box, and just in case he's gonna use detect magic on it, just to see if there's any hybrid technology or magical.
And
Things going-
Kuzon's just like looking at you. What does it look like when you cast detect magic?
It's like a cone that I cast out of my hand, and I can just sense the auras of magic.
But
I can
does it,
discover
like-
more information to focus on.
Does it like? Do you describe it as like giving like from Kuzon's perspective? Does it look like you're like shooting something at your
I
hand?
walk in, see what you're doing, and then I look like I'm just like pointing my hand at it.
Kuzon, from
He's
your
gonna give you,
perspective,
like a
from your
questioning
perspective,
look.
he just sacrificed the chicken and he is saying, hey, 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 hey.
Alright, chicken, alright.
He's just gonna
So-
give you like half lid one of his eyes and like tilts his head like, what are you doing?
Well, it's a fairly simple spell. I don't think there's anything super crazy looking. He's just holding his hand out as he's looking.
It's called Chicken Detectus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, just like Kuzon just like sees you walk in, you point your hand at it, and from his, he's just like, what are you doing?
And seeing if it is magical or hybrid technology.
While you're sensing, you pass your hand over it, and there is something magical at the very center of the box. Like, dead in the center. Not the entire thing, just like almost a sphere at the very center.
Okay, and it says that if I focus on it for another round, I can detect whether it's from a spell, a magic item, or other effect in the caster level of the effect, if there's actual rules for it.
Okay, I would say where you do that, you detect that it's an item, and you can I wouldn't say you could exactly tell a cast level, but you know it's a constant strong effect.
If it's a magic item, can I cast Identify?
You would physically have to be like interacting with it, because it's not the box itself; it's something at the center.
Right. It's a range of 5 feet for Identify.
Oh, so it's wait, does it say five? Oh, actually, it's just 5 feet. Huh? It's not touched like any other. Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. So yes, you would be able to identify. It is basically an item that is constantly casting some kind of cold spell over and over again. Like he's just expelling out cold.
A very
Okay,
powerful cooling agent.
So I tell Kuzon, the whatever it's containing is not magical, but the box has been enchanted with a cold spell to keep it that way. I suggest it might not be safe to open the box.
Kuzon just like shrugs and he's like, a spell? Like, okay. he's kind of being dismissive. I'm playing Kuzon as like a hard skeptic when it comes to stuff like that.
Thiveron kind of this time kind of surprised at your skepticism after witnessing some things that Thiveron has done. He says, well, whether you believe me or not, it's a bad idea to open.
Yeah, because I get, like, from Kuzon's perspective, there are things that have telekinetic powers that, like, as far as he's concerned, are science. Like, creatures that just inherently have that ability he's aware exists. And you did the thing where you threw rocks at people. Not rocks, but, like, equipment at people, which, like, he hasn't had an opportunity to look at all your equipment, so he's not convinced that it wasn't just some weird, like, magnetic thing or something that you had. Like, Kuzon's just like justifying everything you've done so far as like strictly within his understanding.
Right, no, that's fine. That's why I said, like, Thiveron, like, notices your skepticism and just says that you might not believe me, but, like, believe the warning. It might not just be dangerous for whatever's in the box, but it might be dangerous for us if it requires a constant cold feedback to keep it from overheating.
I'll take it on board, and I'll just I guess I have like a wheelbarrow or something, and I'll start moving it back towards the loading bay, getting ready to drop it off.
Just haphazardly drop it in a wheelbarrow.
Just.
By the way, Kuzon, I posted something in the meme section for you.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, essentially you're studying the box, and that is what you discover. And since you're not opening a box, I suspect you're going to be delivering it.
I mean, Prava kind of wants to do an unboxing video with this box. I guess we should deliver it.
I like how you're
really getting into social
I love
media.
how you're just rolling with the whole social media influencer thing.
Well, Sheerans are like really prone to addictions, so like I'm playing him as like, now that he's tried social media, he's like super hooked until the next big thing comes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
At first he was hooked on murder, and now he's hooked on social media.
I mean, they both do equivalent damage to society, so.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Shots fired!
Oh, hot takes, man, hot takes. Right, so if you start driving up to the location, you actually see that there is a sort of delivery pod of some kind floating in space.
I'm gonna bring us in then.
Essentially, it's big enough to fit in one of your, like, take up one of your holes.
I'm
If you bring
gonna
it in
contact everybody for the comms. Alright guys, we're here. Kuzon, seems like we're gonna need to get that box to one of our hangars so we can, you know, jettison it out or something. I don't know how this shit works. You're the expert.
I mean, we could spacewalk out to it. I've always wanted to do a spacewalk.
Yeah, let's just bring it in. I mean, no need to walk through space. I mean, I know it sounds all romantic and shit, but it also sounds dangerous.
Don't worry, there's probably plenty of that coming soon. So, essentially, as you get the cargo pod into it and reactivate the doors to close and air fills the cargo hold once more, the cargo pod, the delivery pod sits in your cargo hold.
I'll get some help lifting up the box, and we'll stick it into the delivery pod and close it back up.
As you open up the delivery pod, it's around about the size of a small vehicle. As you open it up, you can notice that there are 2 boxes and 1 thin metal case inside. And it says basically it lists your names. Normally it would list the ship, but since you haven't named the ship, it just lists your names.
The Perseverance.
Yeah, I think I like the Perseverance. I think that's a good ship name. I was kind of thinking about it. I was like, well, we'll come up with it. But it's kind of like...
I mean, I'm open to ideas if somebody else has anything, but until somebody says something, I like Perseverance.
Prava and I both don't care. I wouldn't name a car. I probably wouldn't name a spaceship either.
Yeah, I think Ataika's just gonna call it ship.
What about you, Thiveron? You've got any ideas for a ship name?
No, actually, he'll say, I like Perseverance. I don't know why. I can never come up with names for my own shit in these games.
Yeah.
But
I mean-
when I'm writing, it's like breathing. It's super easy.
I mean, I'm thinking
Yeah,
we're
no kidding.
lucky, we get out there, we get shit done, even though sometimes it may be sketchy, but we get the job done. We persevere, so the Perseverance, there you go.
Well, yeah,
feel
like
free to
I'm
name the ship.
the same as Thiveron. Your real person version as well. Is when I'm writing, I can do it in a split second. But right now, nothing is coming into my brain.
Well, like when you're writing, you usually have like a thematic hook and like a plan and things can fit.
Well, you
Nope,
have a
I don't do
week
that.
to figure it out anyway. Or you can name it for Perseverance for now, but as I mentioned, inside there are a couple crates and a thin metal case around about the size of a A4 piece of paper inside the box, inside the delivery thing, saying this is for list your names.
Yeah, I'll pull our stuff out, set them aside, and I'll stick the package in there, and I'll take all the stuff with us back into the ship as we get ready to send this thing back out.
Mm-hmm. And if you guys just send it back out, as soon as you send it back out, you can see it sends out a small signal before boosting away.
Well, mission accomplished. It's at our hands now.
I'd say that's our first job, well and done. So, Kuzon, what kind of goodies did they send us?
I'm interested in this metal case first and foremost. I'll just pop it open. I'm just curious what's in there.
You can see as you open the metal case, there's a document inside. As you pull it out and start reading through it, you can tell that they're basically pink slips for the Upsilon station, and officially, in games terms, you gain 5 build points for your ship.
Ooh.
And along the paper it says, "Welcome to the Salvagers." Essentially, this is your official welcome into the thing since you completed the first job.
Nice.
Nice.
I could. Kuzon just kisses the slip of paper. It's like I could frame this.
Ah, yes. Well, essentially, what he gives you, that is quite already a large sum.
Again, cool and all, but we actually need spending cash.
I mean, that's our drift engine, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
That'll give us access to lots of jobs.
We do
lots of
kind of need
cash.
that drift engine.
And I'll check out the other crates as well. I'll just like set. I imagine we're all gathered in like the mess hall.
Yeah, after a
sitting at
while
the
we
table,
probably all
like-
gathered in the mess hall so we can have some food and check out all the stuff.
Yeah, so you're just basically getting them out each time. The papers are laid across the table, listing like the pink slips of everything you can use them for. And then as you open up the crates, you notice, well, speaking of spending cash, as you open it up, you see that along the top of it, there are like small strips. You pick them up and they're hang on a minute. There you go.
PBs.
UPB. There you go. UPBs. No, I keep calling them UBPs, but yeah, UPBs. And there are several strips of those that you lay out on the table in each box. And then under that, there is a bunch of credits, credit sticks. Seemingly that it keeps them in small amounts as opposed to all the money on one. And laying them all out, you have about, 1 second, I have to open my notes, 2,000 credits and 500 UPBs.
So again, what's a UPB again?
It's so basically what it is it's like a special. It's almost like a technological like clay, where if you know how to work with it, you can basically craft it into most things. Like it's basically like if I have 500 UPBs, I can use it to craft something that's within 500 gold.
Oh, so it's something for engineers and magic classes. Okay, gotcha.
Well, no, well, the thing is, they're also synonymous with credits, since their trade value is literally 1
Yeah.
UPB for 1 credit. So essentially, you can swap them back and forth quite easily.
Oh, okay.
So they also count for 500 credits as well, if you really wanted.
So is that like in total 2,500 or is that for a person? Because you said it's in small chips.
No, it's in small chips, but that's in total.
Uh-huh.
It's just 500 of it is in like UPBs, and then the 2,000 is in credits.
I'll divide up the credits by 5, so we each get 400. But how much do I owe you? 93, Prava?
That sounds correct.
Yeah. So I'll take 307, and then Prava will take...
Before we divide it, might I remind everybody that Prava actually used his own funds for us to get that vehicle. Perhaps he should get a return on his investment first.
You could give him 80 of UPBs. You can easily trade them in.
Yeah,
that's
sounds
fair.
good.
Yeah.
So since there's 5 of us, that means 500 credits each, correct?
Yeah, so 290.
And
Well,
if you
2,000
want to
is in
transfer
hard cash,
UPBs
so-
straight to credits, because I can just assume that you do that. Like,
Yeah, so 500
I
credits.
thought we were gonna do we? Because what I was thinking is we would float we would give everybody the credits, and then we'd have like a UPB budget where it's like a pool where we decide what we want to do with it. Like if we split our funds and basically like, you know what I mean? If we divide it out like that, like take a small percentage from everybody, we'll have like a UPB budget to like.
Oh, you
craft
know what?
stuff.
Yeah, I like that idea. Let's use the UPB for some kind of budget for the ship where everybody can, just take what they need. So, for instance, we can take the 800 that Prava spent from his personal cash, give it to him, and then we're gonna leave the 420 left over for building stuff and whatever necessities that we might deem as a party is worth investing into. How's that?
Yeah, I also did give you your $100 from your deposit back as well.
Yeah, I already added that to my sheet earlier.
Yeah.
We're good.
So yeah,
Well,
for
that's
now
what I
I'm
was thinking.
gonna...
Like,
So I think
if we
we're
split this
giving-
up and we take like a percentage of whatever we get, we can have a budget for like if you guys need to commission me to craft stuff for you or stuff like that. It makes sense because when I craft items, they have better hardness and everything. Like they're slightly better than what you would get if you bought them.
Oh, perfect. Nice. So yeah, let's leave that for the ship, the BPs, and we'll just split all the credits amongst ourselves. That seems fine.
so this is how it's going to go then,
Yeah,
just so I'm clear.
yeah,
Okay.
that's the way. In the ship's sheet, is there a way where we can put that 420 so we don't forget it?
In cargo.
Also, don't blaze it, not yet. Okay.
Also, I think we're getting 400 credits each, not 500.
Yeah, 400
Yeah,
credits
he,
each.
yeah, Aiden was just jumping the gun.
No, he never jumps the gun. He's always on target.
Then jumps the gun.
No. Never. Maybe.
Never.
Only if Thiveron tell him to not jump.
Because in the future, he did jump the gun.
Yep.
And almost blew his head off.
No. Never miss a target. You're okay. You're okay. It's fine.
I see that Aiden's never going to admit that his advice predicting the wind actually saved from him blowing Tyrion's head off.
Never miss the target.
I see.
I have a feeling no one's ever gonna admit that Thiveron helps them with his future self.
I'm also mystically inclined, so I'll believe you.
Yeah, I mean, like,
This robot's religious, even if his religion's bullet, he'll believe you.
I'll believe you too, as long as it's not something that, you know, implies that I may have missed with a gun, because I never miss with a gun. What are you on about?
As you can say, whether or not you admit it to Thiveron is a different thing.
Yep.
Ataika's a pretty polite guy. He doesn't, like, mysticism isn't, like, fucking... He doesn't look at it as ridiculous or
Look,
bad.
the robot's less skeptical than the lizard.
Yep. I have run all the numbers and the math checks out. Religion and magic exists. And Kuzon's like, la la la, I can't hear you, la la la.
Yeah, I'm not
Maybe we should get your
implying
sensors
that.
checked.
I'm not implying that Kuzon's belief is entirely 100% rational. It's just how he feels.
There's a whole bank built on the church of the god of money. Nope, gods don't exist. Fuck that.
I mean, just telling me that there's a bunch of people gathered together to worship money doesn't strike Kuzon as necessarily implying gods.
It seems to me
God.
like it's implying retards.
By the way, Ash, something we forgot from last session. My stamina is still fucked up for some reason.
Really? I
Yeah.
thought I solved that.
Nope, it still says I have 6 or 8 or whatever.
Yeah, it says you had 0 for me. The fuck?
Anyway, I'll remind you after, maybe tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah,
Okay, let's keep
that's
going
weird.
for now. So we've spent some time in the dining room, we've had a few drinks, we've had a nice meal, we've split the loot, everybody's happy. Did we get anything else from those boxes, apart from the battle points and the cash? Like some kind of instructions, a letter, anything else?
There you go. I fixed it. Oh, so basically, you did get a letter from them. It's basically a thank you letter and to await further like tasks.
Gotcha.
Like basically from this point on, there's going to be like a job sort of list that he's going to give you that you can take on at any point at anything. Some people may take the jobs. Aiden may know what kind of job system I'm talking about.
Yep.
But instead you do it personally, and essentially that's how it's going to go. And then there's going to be main ones that he's going to ask you specifically to do, and you know, stuff like
So
that.
basically side
But
quests and
can-
main quests.
For now though, you are free to roam. Like you can do your own personal thing, and he will be in contact soon.
I think we're supposed to go party, right?
Yep, I'll set a course right now. I hope you guys are looking forward to it, because I promise it's gonna be fun. Just wait for it. And Aiden looks very excited as he heads towards the pilot seat to set up course for Absalon Station.